Hello, and welcome to the online part of my Music Humanities class. We're going to start out by talking about some features of music, the actual physical features of it. It's not really critically important for you to know this stuff. I think it's really fun, but it will be good for you to have a working knowledge of some of these parameters of sound as the class unfolds, because some major things happen throughout the history because of them. We're going to be talking a bit more in class about some of the more foundational aspects of sound, but I thought I'd start this video series with just a really quick talk about scales and what a scale is. And I got a little demonstration about how we kind of construct a scale. Basically, a scale is a set of notes that we use to make a melody. And a melody is just something you sing, a series of pitches. And in fact, that's where we're going to start when we start talking about plain chant later in this thing. And that particular form of music where you're just taking 7 notes and stringing them together, it's called monophonic music or monophony. From the Greek, single and phony sound. It doesn't have harmony. It doesn't have things we're going to be talking about later in the term counterpoint and things like that. It's just a single set of notes that are drawn from one of these scales. Well, how do you make a scale? Well, I've got a little demonstration here. Okay, we're going to use this little piano keyboard, and basically I can play stuff on it like that. And we're going to create a scale, and we're going to kind of explore some features of sound. We're going to start with a note here. And there's something interesting about the way sound works. If I go up to a note up here, that's what we call an octave above it, it sounds kind of the same, except this one is higher pitched. In fact, it's called an octave because it's exactly 8 of these scale notes up from the bottom one. We're going to ignore the black keys for now. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 octave. And what's interesting is that it has a very particular aspect, mathematical aspect. These notes that you hear happen because you're hearing sound pressure variations at a particular rate. It's going fast and slow, fast and slow. Well, not fast and slow, high pressure, low pressure, high pressure, hits your eardrum, and basically you then hear a pitch. And these rates are pretty fast. That C that I'm playing, this is what that note is, that's about 260 vibrations per second. We'll just round it to, say, 250 because we're going to be a little bit flat today. Now what happens is when you go up an octave, you actually double that frequency. So this note up here is 500 something vibrations per second. If you go up another octave, it's off the scale here, that note is 1,000 vibrations per second. Now, those of you who are mathematically inclined will realize that this means that we hear exponentially. And in fact, the way that we construct a scale is by laying out that exponential aspect using particular ratios. We have already seen the ratio 500 to 250, or whatever it is actually a 2-to-1 ratio. And that's the octave. All right? Now, if we go up exactly 5 notes, 2, 3, 4, 5, that note is called the fifth, and that's a 3-to-2 ratio. It's called the fifth because it's 5 notes up. Okay? This note down below, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, has a particular ratio too. It's exactly 2/3. And that's called a fourth, because what we do when we go down here is we actually take that and we shift it up an octave. And that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, we can fill in the rest of these notes with these simple ratios. 9/8 is a second, okay? A third is kind of in dispute, but it's typically something like 10/9, okay? And all these notes we can sort of calculate what their frequencies might be. Now, there's a problem with this, but we're not going to get to that problem until halfway through the term, okay? But let me show you how we make a scale out of these notes, all right? So we're going to start here, and I'm going to kind of lay this out, okay? So we start with this note, then we go up an octave, we hit that note. Then we go up to our fifth, the simple 3-to-2 ratio here. And then what happens is we can go a fifth above that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that's kind of not within our little scale thing that we've produced here. So we're going to take that down by an octave and put that note down here. Then we can take this note, go up a fifth to that note. That's within our sort of scale range. Okay, let me see if I can get rid of that guy. No, I can't. Okay, then we can go up to this note. It goes down to here. Okay, we've already had our fourth kind of put in. Okay. And then from this note, we can go up to that note a fifth. And we actually ignore these kind of up above here, but we've created a scale out of those simple ratios. Like that. And we can create melodies by choosing those pitches. Like that. Let me go back to this mode 0. Like that. Now, depending on what note we start on, we can construct different scales. Like I could construct a scale down here. And it has a different character to it, you know. You know, it's kind of a more melancholy sound than this nice, you know, happy sound. And in fact, we're not actually dealing with scales precisely when we start talking about medieval music. We're actually talking about a thing called a mode. But we'll discuss that a bit more after we get going a bit. Okay, so that's it for now. Hope you enjoyed this little scale lesson and have fun thinking of music.